Hey guys, welcome to Why Shy Why for this week. Today I want to talk about testing. It kind of started a couple of days ago where I got invited to speak at a conference here in Toronto on the 15th of June called the Agile Testing and DevOps Conference, I think it's called. 15th of June, check it out, it seems pretty cool. Unfortunately I won't be able to make it, so I can't present there. But it got me thinking about my approach to testing in an agile world. And it all sort of starts in this story, nucleus story, a decade and a half ago, where I was the sole developer in a team, whereas two other people had just left. And I was testing in what was at the time a smoke test environment, a production environment. I was doing some smoke testing. And what I had to do was build out two profiles. A profile for one partner and a profile for another partner, and then they'd be linked similar to a marriage or something otherwise. Now, I used myself as one partner, and then I got to thinking, well, who can I use as a second partner? And just hit me, then I'm going to use Jennifer Love Hewitt. So here I was putting all her details in. I didn't actually have a phone number or email address, just so you know. But I would put all of this in, and I would run some tests as to, can we insert a person? Can we link a person or two people? And what are the privileges between the linked people that are available? So we were running all these tests. Anyway, at the end of the testing, what I would usually do is go through and delete all the entities that I created, because we want to leave that environment as pristine as possible, how we found it. And we got to a place, I got to a point where I, before I had written a script for this, which is exactly what I did about a week after this particular incident, I ended up deleting all the Jennifers in the production database. And that kind of set the tone for me in terms of testing. Right after that, I probably wrote my first unit test ever. I didn't call it a unit test. I didn't really know what a unit test looked like at that point, but now that I think about it, the nucleus, the start was this idea of being able to test for these test cases. So I guess my tip today, guys, not my tip, but my story is trying to show that when it comes to agile testing, yes, there's great stuff out there. Unit testing should be there. You should have automated unit testing, automated integration testing for things like check-ins or releases. You should then, of course, have smoke tests or sanity checks. But I would like to say this. When it comes to testing in an agile world using, say, a Scrum framework, you want to do a couple of things. One, make sure your tests ship with your product. Okay, so if you are writing unit tests, for example, I don't necessarily espouse TDD and writing tests before you write the code, but there's nothing wrong with that. I kind of love the idea of it, that tests should be first in your head, and then you write the code to sort of meet that test. If you do it the other way, the opposite way, I'm not so worried about that. But for me, for me, that's one of the things that you want to start thinking about really early on is, how am I going to test this? What code am I going to write to test this particular thing that I'm writing? And can we ship it along with everything else? That's key to me. The next part of it is that whole DevOps machinery. You cannot ship or a potentially incremental piece of software for delivery without having some really cool DevOps in place. And testing has to fit into that DevOps, okay? So if there isn't one part of your pipeline that tests specifically, runs through unit tests, runs through integration tests, and then prompts someone to do a manual test, then you're not really thinking about testing as an agile way of doing so. The last thing is this: bring your people and interactions into your testing. Start talking to your users about what are the edge cases, what are the things that you think are going to break the system. Test specifically for those. I think if you can get those things right, what you're going to find is that you're thinking agile, but you're writing tests, which is where we want to go with the whole thing. Again, I'm really sorry I can't present at this conference because I would have loved to, but that's a sort of recap of what I would have done otherwise. Cheers guys, have a good day. Have a good one.